Hey, I think I'm getting this camera stuff straight. Yeah. Hey. Oh, see. Hi. How you doing this evening? I can't say the name. Look like Cinto. Yeah. One more time. I'll lower it down. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Yeah, straight women. We love trans women. Yes. Yes. We need to come out the closet with that. You know how sick I am at hearing people tell me about what my relationship with the LGBTQ community is? You know how sick I am of that? Black women wouldn't have to holler so loud if you hear us when we talk. Wouldn't have to holler so loud if you heard us when we spoke. So that's what we're doing there. Yes, that's my introduction song, written by Tyree Welch and his cousin Sean Welch. Tyree has a clothing line called Fly Gear, and Sean. Oh, thank you. He says I'm so cute. I remind him of my grandmother. Well, I sure hope your grandmother will come and speak up for the LGBT community and say how we, if she feels like that, how women really feel about uh, LGBTQ and trans women. I love them. Now, I wasn't going to talk about that because I'm trying to save one broadcast for when I look at the 2 episodes of Maddie in the Morning. And then I want to save Sunday to talk about me, Martin, and what I feel I could, how I feel I could have a relationship with a transgender woman. But as I was getting ready, because I do listen to Maddie, I listen when she comes all the time on television. I hit the like button, all the time, all the time, and I, of course, I'm getting ready, and I hear her on, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this? What is this? I got to go on the record because I was silent for so long. So long. I just said, all those people said, oh, black people, they don't like the LGBTQ and the black people, black women, and if you go to any of the shows, and if Coronas hadn't hit, our money, me and my daughter's money had finally got right where we could do a Maddie run down to New York and catch Flame and Monroe and Spilly Boy and everybody and Bob the drag queen and everybody. We were just gonna go and just finally everything was right. You have to have time and then money and then they have to be there. And finally it came together and then Coronas came. But yes, absolutely I'll be there. Yes. My daughter was upset because for her birthday she wanted to do it. We was going to do a drag show. That we love that. Oh my God. I would melt to meet T.S. Madison. What I think my Martin would be. Now, it's all in my head because Martin was older than me. So if Martin had stayed alive, Martin would be a real old trans woman. And my best friend. Anyway, getting back to TS. So I'm listening to her as I'm getting ready. Now, It's just so funny that she said that, because as I'm thinking about what I'm going to talk about on the show, I said, when I talk about me and Martin in our old days and how we used to stuff his bra with toilet paper, because all that testosterone blocker and all that stuff, that was real money back then. That was like took money to get that stuff. And Martin didn't have that money because it takes a job, but they don't hire trans women, and it's that whole vicious cycle. So he was a sex worker, and he wasn't making that much money off sex work to take care of himself and to get all the extras. And then HIV/AIDS came through. Now I'm telling you, this someone said that a millennial and what they went through in this little bit of time that they had been on this life, and I went back and I started listing stuff from there, and I was like, please, I've seen the wipeout of from HIV/AIDS, and I'm seeing the wipeout from COVID. It's not specifically towards LGBTQ, the COVID, and neither was AIDS. But they put it there. They put it on them. So TS was talking about, I don't know, Sex in the City, some movie stuff. I don't really pay attention to those people. Listen, I can't watch myself be berated and all that stuff no more. Remember when I was growing up, we was nothing but housekeepers. Then when I was an adult, we was nothing but whores and people who got arrested. So I don't follow that. But TS is upset. I think she showed the clip or something. I don't know. Someone is using, the only person I ever heard say this is T.S. Madison. I've never heard anyone say these words that I'm getting ready to say. And it's so strange because I was sitting here saying, because a lot of times when I look at me and Martin, I kind of use T.S. as what would T.S. say if, me and Martin, when we were younger. And in my head, I always say, TS, okay, we will step our pussies up, but we didn't have the money back then like y'all have now. Now, she's the only one I ever heard say that. And if I ever heard anybody else say it, I would say, oh, you got that from TS Madison? Just like, hello, is this thing recording? If anybody else says that to me, I say, is that T.S. Madison? She's the only word I know who would say that. And I just remember a time when she said, when she used to tell the girls at night during tea time, when, especially if one of the transgender girls had been attacked or something like that, and they got to be on foot out there in the street, TS would say stuff like, you really need to step your pussy up. You really need to do this. And at times I'd be like, TS, think back, sister girl. Think back. I don't know a transgender woman that doesn't try to step her pussy up. TS. I don't know one. That's why I love them. That's why I want them in this old age, because I know that's the way they are. Every day they try to do better and better and get better and better with themselves. And that's what I love, because every day I try to do better and better, and I try to get better and better with myself. So I know, like, that's my best friend, my mate for life, a transgender woman. So, but anyway, going back to that thing. So it was just so funny because it was in my head to say on my live, and then Tia said it. And then someone took it from her. And I just wanted to let her know, go on record, because everybody been speaking for me about the LGBTQ, and the black women did this, and then the black women did this, and the black women, and we never get a chance to say. I don't hear us saying it. So, anyway, I remember that show. Hold on, let me get a little water. My alkaline water in my jar. Okay. The show was called, I got it here. I had to take a picture of it. And it's called Lost in Transition. It was a show that was on TLC maybe 5 years ago. I didn't dig into it like that. The point I wasn't talking about was the date. It was in the like 4 or 5 years ago. Um, I knew I wanted a transgender mate for the to have a transgender mate, to a transgender woman to be my mate until I leave this earth from that show. Yeah. Now, the show is about loss and transition. Is about like four couples. And they want the men in a relationship. They've always been women on the inside, but because they was like my age, like 50, 60. So you couldn't bring it out. Just like as an African American woman, I'm finally coming out and saying I support the LGBTQ. Though people who know me know I do, but finally I get to say my say of my support and talk how I feel about the LGBTQ community as a mother, as an elder, and as a proud African American woman. So, out of I forgot my train of thought when I got so happy. African American woman, it took me to that higher power, child. So, um, out of the all the deep all the alphabets, T is my favorite transgender because they love women. So the couples are together. It's about four of them, and it's the men. Some have been wearing what do you call those? They wear women underwear underneath their suits and different things like that. They always want to, and now they've reached a time of their life. Some are retired. Some like me, you look and you say, "Wow, don't got too much of that road laying out before me," and you want to do what you feel. I can't. I can't imagine, but I can totally understand reaching this age where I am at 64. I'm feeling one way, feeling younger on the inside than I look on the outside. But can you imagine not only feeling younger on the inside than the outside, but feeling feminine on the inside and still looking masculine on the outside? Now, the feeling young on the inside and growing out all on the outside, looking all outside, you can't change that. But finally, you can take care because it's two inside you. You got to get rid of one. So you have that woman come on the outside of you, and I think it's great. I think it's great. So in the show, uh, the women aren't accepting their husbands wanting to transition. I remember one woman said, "I am not going to be in a lesbian relationship." Another one was just crying. She didn't know how she felt about it. She didn't know what to do. They had kids. I mean, he had some high position, and Okay, just let me get this out because this is inside me as I was looking at it. These were some dissatisfied Caucasian men, white men, that were executives or in positions of high authority. And the whole time they're hiding how they feel on the inside. So a lot of times you don't know where you are with them because they don't know where they are with themselves. But anyway, I'm just saying, like in the workforce, like they're your bosses. They're your doctors that you go to. They're your bankers. Those were the people who were in a position of power and to make money. So they went along with the okey doke. And then now they say, oh, I have enough time to be. I'm listen. I love them, so I'm not pointing fingers, or anything like that. I'm just saying that's the way it is for them. But that's what I want. I want to mate like that because they go and they get their nails done. They get their hair done. They like feeling good. They like looking good. Transgender women. They love doing all the things that I used to like to do with my girlfriends. They were wonderful. They are wonderful. So anyway, in the transgender thing, the the wife's like, I'm not gonna be a lesbian. If you turn into a woman and we're still together, then that must make me a lesbian, and that's not true. That is not true at all. Not true at all. No, because he didn't say he wanted to be gay yet. He didn't know. One thing he knew was he wanted to start looking on the outside like they look on the inside. And I couldn't understand why some of the women tried, and they just couldn't do it anymore. Um, I think they had issues within themselves, the women. I think they were, just my opinion, but the way they turned on their husbands when the husband said they was gay, it made me think that they thought themselves of that white elk where that was beneath them. That was horrible. Those horrible, horrible gays. That was in their head. My husband, my good white bread husband, has wants to transition to a woman, a horrible, horrible gay woman. But they said it was gay. They say sexual. They just said they just wanted to try feeling on the inside of their outside, and the women they just couldn't take it. They had to have that suit and tie man. They had to have the suit and tie man. Well, and the whole time I was looking, I was like, oh man, I would be with you the first time they went to get their hair done and they get their nails did and all that stuff. And I was like, we would have a blast. And that's what it was. All of a sudden, they were new again. They weren't old, they were new again. And that's why I want me. And that's why I know I'll be comfortable with a transgender woman because they're new. They're excited. And I want to be excited with them. They want to feel beautiful material against their body. I can totally appreciate that. So do I. So do I. Man. So that's what it was. Lost in transition. Uh, this men just, and you hear this story and it's so heartbreaking. It's so, they couldn't be what they want to be. And then when they decide to come out and be it, they had to be it alone. They had to be it alone without any help, without anybody. They had to be it alone. They had to go into the beauty parlor by themselves. They had to go get their nails done. And that's until forever, forever, till they meet someone. I want to be that someone they meet. Yeah. Yeah. I want to be that one. Because I need to go shopping. I want to go shopping. I think I want colorful stuff. But I don't know about that stuff. I sit down with Martin. Martin did that. Okay, that's another thing I want to bring up. My T.S. Martin. He dressed me. Why don't you put these two things together, Vicky? Why don't you put this together, Vicky? Oh, I saw these shoes. Let's go see if we could go see these shoes. You look great in these shoes. I'm telling you. And I just tagged along because I have no fashion sense. Even when I used to write, and I would have to get descriptive about something, an outfit that someone was wearing. Well, back in the day, I would keep magazines, old, even old magazine, so I could pull out and use some of the wording because I don't know. I don't know. Yes, my grandmother taught me to sew, but I hated it so much. Yes, but Martin dressed me. He was telling me what color goes with my complexion, and I know if I get an older transgender man that just came out, well, we can go together. That's what they have salespeople for. That's what they have makeup people for. That's what they have a lot of things for, to help direct us and guide us. And then we can look. And then, that's when we go back to get magazines again. And we look at the models and stuff. Or we sit down with the tablet and we go through it. And we're like, oh, you look at that. Oh, you look at me and T.S. Martin used to dream all the time about what we get rich, what we going to buy, and what we going to dress, how we going to look. Oh man, man, I hate AIDS. Anyway, that was me and T.S. Martin. But these folks, I don't understand it. And Lost in Transition. There was one couple, a young couple. He got fired from his job. I think he had one kid and his wife was pregnant with another kid. I think he had one kid and his wife was pregnant with another kid. And that's how he um he wanted to go into transition. I mean, I was curious at times because I was thinking, is he going to transition? Because I mean, basically, he was carrying the weight of a woman and two kids. I mean, yes, she worked, but that old gender specificity nailed him as the person that carried all the weight. And even though she worked, she had the babies, she did all that stuff. Even when he was going into transition, she was getting ready to go into labor. Now, that confused me a little bit at times. Like I said, it's the fact that he was the guy out of high school. You get married, you have this woman, you have children, you get a job, you build your life, and you're the guy, you take the full responsibility. Now, I can say something. Growing up for me, the weight of the situation was on the man, but the women did everything. I came from, if a man didn't work, they say, oh, if men don't work, he's not helping the family, he's not carrying the weight, he's not doing anything, he's not so and so. I gotta tell you something. That's not what I come from. The side that I was on, that is, if a woman couldn't get a job, there was something wrong with her. If she couldn't do something to make money to bring in the house, there was something wrong with her. My mother worked. My aunts worked. Okay. My father's side of the family, my uncles worked. So did all my aunts. But I guess, I don't have that hang up. I can walk into, me and Martin used to go everywhere. And they was probably staring at me. A few years ago, my girlfriend Darlene, she has these long, beautiful dreadlocks. And she is a beauty. She's tall. She's a chef. She has these long dread, beautiful, funny, funny, funny. And everywhere we go, she said people were staring at her because she had dreadlocks. I never noticed. I never noticed. I was trained from being with Martin. He always used to say, "Fuck him, Vicky." And after a while, I started saying, "Fuck him too." Me and Martin would go about having a good time. He could switch. He could switch. Like I say, he used to love to do that twirl around and go and drop it like it's hot and come back up. In the middle of Fulton Avenue in downtown Brooklyn. He didn't care. And I didn't care either. I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I said, go girl. And every time he went someplace and he was trying on something, well, no, they didn't let him try something. I tried on something. They wouldn't even let him try on shoes. But back in the days when we was doing the shoe, you had the shoe salesman that was always there. Now there's no one there. But back in the day, there was always a shoe salesman that got the shoes and stuff for you. You just can't, go to a whole shelf. It wasn't like that then. So they wasn't handing over women's shoes. They would stretch them out. Anyway, he would pick out stuff for me and he would say, turn and spin. And then he would show me how to turn and spin. And how to look at myself in the mirror and how to vogue. Funny as hell. Oh, good times, good times. Man. So I know how to ignore people. That's when I work with the mentally challenged. I was good. I never noticed people staring. And I would tell them that they said, "Oh, Vicky, they staring." I was like, "And?" I said, "We paid to get in here. We didn't beg to get in here. They have a right to stare. We got a right to ignore them. Ignore them." I got that from Martin. I think he thick skinned me, and I'm thick skinned. So if you're a trans woman that's just going through. And now, okay, I got to tell you the difference. Why I would want a trans woman now going through transition, and not um and a transgender woman like from however what was Jazz Five. I don't want that. That's a woman to me. I don't want I don't want that. I don't want that woman. I want I want someone who is used to having a relationship with a woman, who is used to loving a woman, and late in life has decided to let the inner woman in them show themselves on the outside. That's who I want. That's who I want. I'm gonna eat the next time I do a live. I see my stomach growling. Let me take a cough drop. um, that's what I want, and I support the LGBT. I always have. I always have. I mean, showed you my little gay boy stories. We even got that far. I've always been with them, involved with them, doing something. Um, in the play world. I worked at the UN Plaza Hotel. Okay, um, but our connection was I as a writer, and they were actors and actresses, except Leilani. Leilani, David, David Goldstein, who was raised on the island of Oahu, worked at the UN Plaza Hotel and at the Men's Harvard Club. Now, David worked all day at the Men's Harvard Club, all day, 9 to 5. He made no money. He came to the UN Plaza Hotel to work from, I think, 6 to 12 or something like that. I think they even made a, wait a minute, no. He worked from 7 to 2 at the Harvard Club and did 3 to 11 at the UN Plaza Hotel. Yep. And the reason why he loved working at the Harvard Club, though he basically lived off tips, was because of his social standing in the gay community. So, him being, let me take this down. Leilani being sometimes he worked the locker room, sometimes he just did the wait, or whatever the members of the Harvard Club needed, he was there. And he loved it. They didn't pay him hardly anything. I don't think they paid him. He worked at the UN Plaza Hotel. And if we asked him to do overtime, he did overtime. So that tells you something. But in the gay community, because I asked Donald, who we called Ducky, I asked Ducky, wow, why does Leon, why does he stay there? He said, it's the standard. He works at the Harvard Club. So that's what it was. It was a social standing in the gay community. So, and I remember saying to Ducky, I was like, but aren't they mostly straight men there at the Harvard Club? And he just laughed. He just laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. That's an old story. I thought they were straight. But people of power, and I imagine a position, listen, Absolute power corrupts absolutely. They have a chance, a way of getting into their own thing. You know, I'm so glad that what the guy had came in. He hit the like button so much. I appreciate him so much. He comes in when I come in Thursday, and then came today to say hi to me. Um, but I'm not gonna stay. I'm not gonna stay too long today because I'm gonna go do stuff. But I just want to touch base with you, just to let you know about that part. That I feel good finally being able to speak up, not having people telling me how I feel about uh, the LGBTQ community, transgender women, transgender men. I don't want anyone to voice how I feel from this point on, and that's why I have this live. I don't want that anymore. I want to be able to speak for myself, and as speaking for myself, I've always supported you. I always will support you. I always fight for legislation or anything like that. Yes, I know some of the gay boys, they have the little issues with women, but that's okay. And a lot of times that's mother issue. It got nothing to do with me. But for sure positive, transgender women love women. And I love them. So I'm gonna wrap up this short little talk, right? I just popped in to have that talk with y'all on Sunday about straight women. Yes, a lot of straight women love members of the LGBTQ and all the other alphabets. Me, I love madly transgender women, but I think that the non-conformance, the nons are the bomb. I would be a non myself. Oh yeah, non. Just be whatever you want to be. Maybe I am a non. But I love me a transgender woman. I want an older man. Go get yes, get his legs shaved, his eyebrows arched. I don't know if I can do stockings, but I would love to see him in stockings. Silk, but I don't think I can do them. I'm too traumatized working in corporate America. I have a box of stockings. I tell you, I haven't opened, touched anything. I just put them down and I leave them there. Like if I touch them, the stocking's gonna come up and run up my arm. It was horrible. You had to wear them in corporate America. So I'm over that. But I'm gonna be back to you guys Thursday at 4:30, and I'll be talking to you about Maddie in the morning. But I like Sundays when I talk to you about my relationship with transgender women, and I'm proud to say I love me some transgender women. Hey, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and thanks for tuning in. See you next time.